Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the farm. We're on Lone Oak here. I always want to call it Lone Oaks, but that wouldn't make sense, would it? You can't have one of two things. That's not really how that works. But today, we got in contact with one of our neighbors, and we are going to plant their field. It's about 7 or 8 acres, so nothing too big. We don't have very big equipment, though, as you know, so it might take us a little while, but we're going to plant their field in wheat for them this spring. To do that, I'm thinking we're going to use the John Deere. I think we're going to use the 4055. Is that what I have? Yeah, 4055. That should be more than enough to run our seeder over here. Now, this is going to take us a while, but I think we're getting about $4,000 or $5,000 from this. So it's going to pay off, but we do have to go and buy the seed ourselves, and I'm pretty sure we get reimbursed for what we spend in that. But for now, let's get this hooked up to the planter and ready to go. Make sure it's all greased up, good to go here. So we're going to pull over to the planter. Nope, that's reverse, Jake. We're going to pull over to the planter, get it hooked up, ready to go here. Then we got to run down to the store, pick up some seed. Now, I think is there an actual seed facility here somewhere I can buy seed from, or do I have to go and buy it from the store? We'll figure that out here momentarily. But thank you guys so much for the overwhelming support on the first episode of this series. It did 250% better or something like that than my average video. So thank you so much for all the support. From what I read in the comments, looks like you guys are really excited for this new series. Now, are these doors the same? I don't think so. Can we fit through this one? We should be able to. But it looks like you guys are really excited for this new series, and I am as well, so thank you so much for the support on that. And hopefully we have a lot of fun with this one here. Boy, that just squeaks on out of there, doesn't it? Jeez. We could totally fit it in the bed of this truck. We won't go get the flatbed. We don't need it. We're only going to get a pallet, maybe 2 pallets of seed. I don't want to spend too much money. Seed is expensive. It is very, very expensive, so I don't want to spend that money, especially if I don't get reimbursed for it. I should absolutely get reimbursed for whatever the input costs are. I'm fairly certain that is how it works, but I could be wrong. But we'll find out here. We'll head down to the store and get some seed bought, some wheat, and get it going in the field. This truck is so loud. All right, rolling up to the store here. Let's pull in, talk to one of the sales reps, and get us some seed bought. I think I'll pull right up in the same slot we parked in last time. Maybe? We'll back in this time. Actually, you know what? Screw all of that. I'm going to park right here since we're going to be loading this thing up. And I'm going to go ahead and put the tailgate down in preparation. They should have a forklift that we can use to put this thing in here or something. Or maybe they'll do it. I don't know. We'll find out here. All right, so here's the seed that they have in stock. It's a Pioneer brand seed. This is a GMO crop, which is very common. It's actually uncommon to plant non-GMO. And this does have a pre-emerge pesticide kind of coated onto the seed to protect it from any dangers or anything before that crop germinates. It's a nice insurance to make sure the crop goes up. And as we can see, this is going to cost us $1,890 a pallet. So that's a lot of money. I don't really want to be spending that much, but you got to do what you got to do. And I'm pretty sure 1 pallet's not even going to cut it. I think we're going to need 2. But I think we'll just buy 1 for now, just because I really don't want to spend that much money. So we'll buy 1 pallet for now. Really, I don't have much money left to get the next pallet. So here it is. They brought it over here. We're going to ask them to get their skid loader or whatever and load it into the bed of our truck here. All right, they got it loaded up for us. We're going to go ahead and strap it in, close up that tailgate, and then we will hit the road back down to our place to get that filled up and get going in the field. Don't want to take too long today. This is going to take us a lot longer than I anticipated, most likely. We don't have a very big planter, so this is going to take us a while, but it'll be a nice payday. It'll help us get a little bit of money in our bank account, which we really need. We really need the money. So Yeah, you know, I'm not against helping out a local farmer and doing some jobs for him if it means that we can invest that back into our own farms and become more self-sufficient later on. Oh, I'd also like to say someone had a great idea. They said do an unrealistic series on farming sim, and I think that's absolutely genius. I love just having fun and messing around, and I also love doing very realistic stuff like we do here. So I think that's a great idea, and we might have to bring that to be a series. I'll see if I can get that worked out. I've got some ideas, but it's going to be a lot more difficult to do, and I want to make sure I don't mess up my game for the other saves that we have. So I'm going to have to look into it a little bit more. But whoever said that, I can't remember, but that was a great idea, and I'm looking into seeing how to get that done. Alright, we got the covers open. We're putting seed in it now, and as we can see, it took a few bags off of there, but we still got quite a bit of seed there. So maybe, you know what, this might have been a great idea not filling this thing all the way. Now, this other hopper back here, hold on, let me step up on here. This other hopper right here, this is for fertilizer. The contract did not say that we had to apply fertilizer, so I'm not spending the money to do that. I'm assuming the client only wants the seed planted. But we're going to drive the tractor out there to the field. I should also drive the truck. Oh, it's going to be difficult because when we run out of seed, we're either going to have to drive back here or walk back here and get the truck. We'll figure something out. I really need to get like a UTV or an ATV or something. That'd be really beneficial. But let's fire this thing up so it's warmed up and ready to go. We're going to go ahead and just shut off the truck right here. We'll just leave it be since we can't drive two things at once. And let's get back to the field. Luckily, it's actually very close to our farm here. I think it might actually be kind of connected. But I'm going to have to check the directions the guy gave me. I wrote them down on a piece of paper here just to make sure I know where I'm going. So let's head on over there. Hopefully we're going to fit through all the gates. They're fairly wide. We might not fit, though. I don't know. I guess I didn't even think of that. If we don't fit through the gates, this is going to be interesting. We should. I'm pretty sure we can get through these gates, but we'll see. We made it through the gates real easy. We're just going to roll back here through our hayfield on the bottom side again because I don't want to drive in it too much. And we're going to get to planting this. We got to open this gate. Of course we got to open the gate. I'm actually kind of surprised that one was open. I could have swore I closed it last time I went through, but maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm just crazy. I don't know. Let's head on through here. Now this is a tighter gate. Uh-oh. Oh. Are we gonna fit? Ooh. We definitely cannot get any larger equipment. This is like the widest equipment we can own right here. Oh boy. I didn't even think of that. It's a good thing that we have the smaller stuff. That would be so inconvenient. Oh, let's not run over that rock. That'll give us a flat tire for sure. I think someone asked in the comments if this tractor right here was released or not. I don't know. I believe this was made by a buddy of Austin Farmers. I think. Now I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that this was made by a buddy of Austin Farmers. I don't know his name or anything. And I think it might be released, but I don't know for sure. So that'd be something I'd have to check up on for you. How are we going to plant this? I think we don't want to do headlands first. It looks like this is going to be the length way. So we're just going to say screw it. That's not terribly downhill. And we're just going to cut across and across and then do our headlands. I think that's how we're just going to have to get this one done. But we got wheat loaded into the planter. We're going to go ahead and drop the seeder down. Excuse me? Alright, we're planting. We're just going to go diagonally here. I was having a little bit of trouble with the seeder there at the very beginning, just trying to get this thing figured out, but we got it working now. We're just going to go straight diagonal across this field. Now, you're not supposed to go downhill like this, but this is wheat. It really doesn't leave bad ruts or rows in the field, so it's not the biggest issue. I mean, realistically, I shouldn't plant it like this, but it'll be fine. Everything's going to work out just fine. We're almost to the end here, and once we get to the end, we're just going to stop and make sure that this is planting properly, we're going to just do this one row here. And we're going to come to a stop right about here because I don't want to drive into the river. Let's just make sure that this looks like it's planting fine. Yeah, it looks like all the rows on the seeder are working. All the discs are moving. Springs, nothing's froze up or anything. So I think we're going to be fine. That planted all the way through, so looks like we're good. But we're going to hop back into the tractor and keep working on this field, and hopefully we don't end up in this little creek here. Now, the interesting thing about this seeder is it's fully motion controlled, so its plant rate, its seed rate, is based on your ground speed. And so essentially, the faster the wheels turn, the faster the sprockets and the gears will spin, which will change the seed rate to keep it variable. So if you're going slower or faster, it kind of keeps the population of seed relatively the same, as accurate as it can possibly be. The nice thing about this planter is it's completely powerless, so you don't need a PTO to run it. It's not like an air drill or anything. You do need to cultivate and stuff before planting, so you need to make sure you do all your ground prep. Otherwise, it's not going to be able to get it into the ground. But it's very nice for us to not have to run a PTO on this. It makes our lives a whole lot easier when it comes to planting this. All right, let's turn around this way. Now, one thing I'm noticing, and I don't know if it's because this is a mod or whatnot, but when I lift up the planter, it still plants. So there's just a little interesting bit of insight for you. Like, I have it lifted up right now. We're going to drop it back down, and now it should technically be planting again. Now, I know I didn't do that area right there too great, but we're going to be going through and cleaning all this stuff on the headlands up anyways. There are things about this field that could be improved absolutely in the terms of soil conservation, but when it comes to planting this, you want to drive over your planted section as little as possible. The more you drive over it, the more you will compact it, which makes it harder for that seed to break through the crust. That seed bed becomes very compact, and it's not near as easy for the plant to germinate properly. So that's why, in theory, of what I'm talking about here, you do your headlands last, so you're not driving over them while you're planting them. Or after if you do your headlands and then you do all your cross rows, you're going to be driving over your headlands on every single end, and you're going to be ripping up seed, you're going to be compacting the ground. You're just going to cause a whole lot of issues for that plant when it comes time to germinate. Now, every farm runs a little bit differently. Crops all react a little bit differently as well. Some are more hardy than others. But in my experience, we usually plant the headlands last. Having some marker arms on this would be very nice. That's for sure. It's very difficult to kind of tell where you've been and you have not been. As you can see, it's a very nominal change in the ground texture, which is true to how it is in real life. I mean, really, you can't tell very well where you've been and where you haven't been unless you have marker arms or you're running a GPS system of some sort. So, I'm not faulting the textures or anything here. This is more accurate, although I will say the textures aren't lining up with the way I'm actually traveling, but that's a small gripe. And, this isn't going to take as long as I had thought it would take. Now, there are a lot of birds out here feeding on some drop seed and drop crop from previous years, it looks like. And it looks like they're probably actually eating some of our seed that we're planting here right now, which is always an issue, but there's not really anything you can do about it to control the wildlife. Even in real life, we have deer all the time in bean fields, cornfields, nibbling on the crop. I mean, there's not much you can do about it. Deer, cattle, horses, literally any animal is going to get in there and eat some of it because it's a tasty meal for it. I mean, why wouldn't it, right? All right, so we're starting to run into the interesting issue now where we're getting farther and farther and farther away from our next pass, because each time we go one way and then the other way, we are creating an extra length to go across because we're going wider and wider. So the smart thing to do in this scenario, and you actually do this in a lot of different scenarios with hay, with harvesting crop and whatnot, is we should have split the field in half, but then gone to the outer rim on one side, and you just kind of do this circle where you're slowly moving, like, say, to the left. So you do one half on one part, and then you move over to the other half on the other part, and you just kind of shift across left or right or whatever, and it works out really well. You end up not having near the downtime between rows like we're seeing right now, the farther and farther we get apart. But this is a very small field. I'm not really concerned with that. I mean, we're already near done here. We probably are about halfway to we're at least a fourth of the way done with this field. So it's not like it's too bad. This side over here doesn't have a whole lot more to go. That side over there is looking just about similar. That side over there might have a little bit more than this side. So I think it might be, yeah, we might be able to get this done with one pallet of seed. I think so. I think it'll work out. Kind of want to try this in first person here, but this is going to be a little iffy. Yep, I'm already getting off. No, I can't do it. I'd like to get some, I don't know, maybe some chickens. Like, those are pretty low maintenance. Chickens are. We can get the ones that produce eggs. I mean, we could also raise some for meat consumption, and they would sell probably higher, of course. But I'm thinking we could just do eggs and kind of sell those at the local farmer's market. And that would actually fare us pretty well. And we could also use those eggs to eat ourselves, you know, along with our meals, which would mean we don't have to buy those from the store, which is also going to save us a bit of money. So, yeah, I think chickens are kind of a good idea. I don't know how much they would eat a day, but I'm sure that's the largest expense is the chicken feed. But other than that, it should be a relatively low cost and decent return. Now, that again is going to be more of a long-term return, seeing how I don't think we could really sell the eggs for a whole lot. But it's another thing to look into. All right, we've made a lot of progress here, but we haven't hopped out to check on our planter here in a little while, so we're just going to do that real quick. Nice thing, too, is running this planter, like, it does not... This thing just idles along. It's got so much more horsepower than we need, so we're sipping fuel, which is great. Looks like everything is getting a little muddy back here, but nothing's clumped up. We don't have any mud stuck up in the discs or in the feeder boxes. Looks like all that's doing just fine. Now, we should check and see how much we got left in here. So let's open this thing up and take a look real quick. And I'm just going to step up on... Oh, gosh, yeah, we're about empty. Okay. You know what? Do I have enough to finish this row? I might. I might have enough to finish this row. We're going to try it and hope we don't run out. We're going to try going a little ways here. I'm thinking we might be able to just barely get there. Just barely. We should probably check again here at the end. Let's check on it again. No, we are out. Okay. We are out. Let's pick that thing back up. We're going to take this thing back up to the farmyard. Now, I could drive the truck down here and walk up there and drive the truck down here, but it's so close to our place. I'm just going to drive the tractor over there. Normally, you would leave your equipment in the field, and then you would drive something out there to fill it up. Just because overall, that's easier to do. But we're just going to go and fill this thing up at the farmyard. Let's see if we can squeeze through here again. Just barely, man. Just barely. Literally maybe an inch or less on either side. Should fit easier through this one. Oh yeah, so much easier. Had a foot on either side, probably. And let's get a little bit closer. Right there. There we go. She's filling up. And that took almost all the seed. We've got 2 bags and then another whole stack yet. So actually, we have a lot of seed left. We might have seed left over, but let's close that up, get back down into the field, and continue planting. Back through this gate. I almost just don't want to slow down through this gate, just see how fast we can take it. But I'm not about to break our fence and our equipment. That's just a poor financial decision. And we're not in the position to be making poor financial decisions right now. Anybody want to grab their fishing pole? Let's just go fishing, man. Let's just sell fish for a living. How's that sound? Gilbert, you wanna go get your fishing pole? We'll go fishing out here in Oregon. That sounds like fun, right?
This is the reward we get for all our hard work? Fishing for stinky clams in a smelly old boat on a filthy lagoon? You call this fun?
Alright, we're showing back up to the field here. We left off down there, so we're going to head down around the outside of the field, try and minimize our driving on the crop here. This is an open section we can drive on, so we'll drive down here. And we almost finished this row, but didn't quite, so I'm just going to go and pull in onto it. I know you don't want to drive on what you planted, but that little section will be fine. Now we need to turn on the planter, lower it, and hopefully this will plant. Yep, planting just fine. So let's get back to work. You guys get the point by now. Driving back and forth on a piece of dirt, sticking seed in the ground. That's what we're doing. That's what we do for a living. Ooh, maybe I'll be able to make this landowner, Mason, what's his name? Maybe I'll be able to make him a reoccurring customer. Maybe I'll be able to, like, spray for him and harvest for him. Ooh, we can make some real money off this guy. All right. Business ventures, Jake. Gotta get that money. Gotta get that money so I can spend it on a bunch of land and equipment. Thumbnail time. Oh, wow. Kind of neat. Good enough. What do you guys think we need to do to make some money on our farm here? Because we're really hurting. We got $3,600 right now, and we're gonna make some money off this. We're gonna make $4,000, about $4,500 almost. So I mean, we're gonna be a little bit better off, but not really much. I mean, we're still not looking too good in the bank, so we need to get some business ventures figured out. We need to get some plans going. What do you think would be the smartest route for us to tank? I know a lot of people not tank. I said tank earlier, didn't I? I'm pretty sure I said tank. Maybe that's the solution. Maybe we just buy a tank. Is that financially feasible? I don't think so. But I think hay, since it's already grass, we don't have to spend anything to get it to grow. I think that's going to be our key. Now, it is very rainy in this part of the world here in Oregon, so that's going to be a problem. Hay doesn't like rain. You know, hay has to dry out in the sun. You need time for it to dry. You don't want it to get rained on, because then it diminishes the value of it. It'll get rot, and it just won't be as good. So that's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but we'll figure something out here. I think hay is going to be our best solution. I watched a really, like, crappy but kind of funny, like, it was crappy but in a good way movie last night. It was called Basketball. He actually gave me the disc to watch it. My roommate and I, we sat down and watched it, and you know what? It was something else. It was interesting. It was good and it was bad. It's from the late 90s, so that can give you an idea right there. It was like a late 90s parody-ish movie, and it was made by the creators of, like, South Park, I think. So that should tell you everything you need to know about it. But what kind of weird movies do you like? What are your guys' favorite movies? What do you like? I mean, I wouldn't say that's my favorite movie. I'm not going to say that. Not even close. But it just made me think of the topic of movies and stuff. What do you guys like? What kind of genre? What films are you into? I have way too many to pick. If I had to think of some that I've seen in the last couple years that I've really liked, I would say Annihilation was great. Blade 2049 was great. What else? I don't even know what else I saw recently. Oh, what's that movie? 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri or something like that. That movie was actually pretty good. I enjoyed that movie a lot too. You know what? While we're at it, Gilbert, give me a like top 5. What's your top 5 favorite movies? If you have an ability to choose, or at least 5 that you really like that came out within the last few years. We'll just get this conversation going. Let me know in the comments down below what movies you guys liked as well. Wait, I didn't need to come over here. I'm an idiot. Okay, we made it back over to the side I'm supposed to be on. I got to talking about movies and I got distracted. That's what happened. You know, now that I think about it, I keep asking Gilbert questions and he probably hates me because like, now I have to take extra time to put a response? Excuse me, sir. My bad, Gilbert. You don't have to respond if you don't want to. I understand.
You're welcome.
I'm just trying to have a friendly conversation with you, that's all. Alright, instead of going back and forth right there, I'm gonna... you know, I'll screw it. Since this thing just wants to plant whenever, wherever, even if I lift it up, I'm just gonna leave them drop down. I'm done. Done lifting it up. And we're gonna do this headland right here. I'm done going back and forth right there, so I'm just gonna kind of cut this part of the field, and we're gonna do that whole square thing I was talking about earlier. Let's not drive into the little creek there, Jake. That'd be an expensive mistake. Has anyone else ever wanted to just get a massive server together of like full 16 people on a big like 4x map and then make it nighttime and then play hide and seek? Or is that just me? Well, this is interesting. The boss just called and said that I've done enough to consider this contract complete, but I have a giant chunk over here not done yet, so I'm going to finish that chunk anyways, just because it's going to bother me if I don't, and then we'll consider this job complete. I know I talked about doing headlands, but since this thing doesn't turn off, and it pretty much did the headlands anyways already, we're not going to do the headlands. But we're going to finish off this chunk right here. And then we're going to be done with this job. We'll collect our money. We should have about $4,500 coming into our bank for this job. That's really expensive to plant this little field. We're getting a good deal. Realistically, getting paid $4,500 to take an hour of my time to plant like 7 acres or 8 acres of wheat, abso-freaking-lutely worth it. So that is gonna do it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. I know we were just in a field planting wheat all day, but you know what? That's how farmers really work. So sometimes things aren't... sometimes you just don't have multiple jobs you can get done in one day. But that marks the end of this field. We are going to get pulled up out of this. Actually, I'm going to give the guy a call real quick and get our money into our bank here. There it is, $4,486. We now have $8,157. Now, if my math tells me correctly, we got reimbursed for our seed. I hope. I really didn't do any math there. I'm just really assuming and hoping that we got reimbursed for the seed. But if any of you want to actually do the math, feel free. I didn't really pay attention. But that's going to do it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. And until next time, I'll see you all later.